When I did it with
Kourtney Kardashian,
yeah. I'm always saying that it's very, very important to do Panchakarma. That is detoxing the body before you're gonna have a baby. Because I have people that come from all over the world. I started in a room under my house. That's the way Kourtney came for the first time. Gwyneth Paltrow, Damon, all these people. It wasn't a house thing, and that's how I started. When you start taking the ghee, you just like see the magic that happens in your body. It looks for the toxins and moves them to your GI tract.
Is there anything we can do to really make us feel better?
The first thing I recommend for people is to do
Hi Martha, welcome to the HumanWare project. Thank you for having us today in your spa.
Oh no, thank you for inviting Surya. I'm so excited to share.
And you know, Surya Spa being one of the most well-known places for the Ayurveda, especially we're right now in Santa Monica. I know a lot of celebrity and superstar clients have come here to looking forward for this different way of our health. So could you tell us what is that?
Well, the way I like to explain Ayurveda for me, and it was actually applied to my life, is like think about it like an umbrella. And this umbrella has different partitions, yeah? So there is different partitions with it, like yoga. People don't think it's part of Ayurveda, but is part of Ayurveda. So yoga is a part of the exercises where you do the asanas to make the circulation, make your bones, your joints, everything work really well. And the other reason why you do yoga is to be connected with the gut. Yeah, so that's one. The other part of Ayurveda that most people probably don't know about this, but you heard about Vastu or Feng Shui. Yeah, so Vastu is a way of the Indian way of the Ayurvedic way of seeing what is in your house, where is it, what are we going to put, what is it, this is for relationship, this is for the kitchen, and this all related to the sun. So always like your business or your house, I always try to make it that the sun comes to the front door, because then you get the light and you get the energy of the sun into your house.
Is that similar with, you know, Chinese wisdom of feng shui, or is different thing?
They have different things. They have different ways of looking at it, because Ayurveda works more with the three elements, Vata, Pitta, Kapha, or air, fire, water, earth, and ether. They have different directions also in a way, the way Vastu sees it and the Feng Shui. But yeah, Ayurveda does the kind of the same thing. And one of the things in Stapatya bed, that's the name in that it calls within what that's the next one, which is Stapatya bed, is that there should be an opening in the middle of the house.
Oh.
And then all the rest is around, and everything should be completely square.
So basically that's a way how we curating our ambience around us to make us feel the best at ease.
Exactly. And normally if you go to a house that has a Stapatya bed, normally like there's beautiful ones, or even the temples where they have like beautiful big ghee lamps. This is a ghee lamp. So this is Ganesh, and then so you put the ghee here, and then you put a little thread here. How you say that? The wick. You put a little wick, and then you turn it on, and it will last for so long. And so it is considered more sacred, and that's why, for example, this Ganesh has that to offer it. So Gandharva Ved is the music. So with the music, it's really incredible. They have like different music in different, like sitar, flute, and then there's one called Rain Raga that is absolutely beautiful. And they have the different times according to the air, the fire, the water. So that's the time that you listen to that music. And so they have the 24 hours. You can just put it on your house. It has the vibration of this music that should be listened to, or just live with it. It's just like, or sometimes I put them in the treatment rooms, depends on what I want to do to help people with this or that. And then something called Jyotish, which is the astrology, which is the Vedic astrology, which is very, very interesting. So when I wear jewelry, it's pretty much with an intention of what it's gonna do into my life, because when the vibration of this, when the sun hits the stone, that affects my so all the stones are being touched So when I put it, it's touching my skin. So the vibration is going to come into this, and then it's going to affect. So for example, in my house, Jupiter is in the 11th house, it's the house of desires. So pretty much anything that this says that, like the house of desires, whatever I desire, if I really pray for it, then it will come easily.
And when you mention about these 3 elements in Ayurveda, what it means and how can they help us with our health, our wellness?
Yeah, for everything. If you think about it, the planet, we live with the different seasons, which is the affection, how does it affect the air, the fire, the water, the ether, and the space. So when that gets so, like for example, in the summer, it's going to be more hot. Yeah. So I wanted to make Ayurveda be more accessible to people in a way they can understand. So if I am too hot right now, and if I were wearing a sweater, I would just take it out. So you just need to be cooling now. Yeah. So I make my oils, like all my oils are made with that concept. And I wanted to make it easy for people to understand it. So, so we're talking about Vata. So it's air and space. So normally Vata people, Vata people, normally Vata people will be people that are skinny, they are cold, they like to move, and the things when they are aggravated by them, they will be like having insomnia or having the nervous system out of balance. So Ayurveda says what you need to do is warm up. Yeah. So if you're cold, just warm up. That's just don't do salads. Don't do water with ice, which is just like really detrimental for the digestive system. So Ayurveda talks a lot about eating a lot of the cooked food. Even the fruit is cooked. Then the Pitta, which is the fire and water. So the fire is again, and it's really interesting how the people, or Vata or the Pitta or the Kapha, they tend to like these things that aggravate whatever they have in disorder. So like the Pitta people will be like, they could be one of wonderful things about Pitta. They are always on time. They are always very sharp. They are very intelligent. But the side when it's not balanced, that person could be someone that gets really mad very easy. Someone that has like skin issues, rashes, high blood pressure, because it's heat. So much heat in your body. So what would I say? Let's just cool it down. Let's start doing things that is going to cool you down instead of aggravating your food that you eat every day, like spicy food, alcohol, things that are sour. Those things, if you take them in a continuous time, it's going to start getting more heat. And then, so for example, if they have gastritis, so you take alcohol or coffee, it's acidic. So it's going to just open more then the acid of the stomach is going to be very intense. So you go like, no, we need to just like not do some, don't put this kind of foods in your body. So understanding that. And then the Kapha people are beautiful. They have, so understanding these different ways that the planet and how we live with it. And then how understanding that the fruits and vegetables that grow in the winter, they grow in the winter for a reason. Like all the roots is to root you because it's too cold. Yeah. So understanding that eating like beets, and that's why the earth makes them grow right there. And then, for example, in the Pitta season, which is the fire, like if you go into the Caribbean, you always find coconuts. Yeah.
Yes.
Why? Because coconut is very cooling. Yeah. So that's why when you're on the beach and then these little carts and they offer you coconut and you're like, oh yeah, coconut. And you feel that is like helping and cooling the body.
So it's almost like you want to make yourself balance by doing something in the other side of your elements.
Yeah. Because the body will tell you. So like if you are too hot, you need to stop eating things that are making you hot so you will be more cooling.
And how am I know what kind of elements am I? And am I always the same or will I change?
It will change, and it will change depends on whatever the weather and depends on what you eat again. The way Ayurveda does this is that I take your pulse and then I just put my 3 fingers. These fingers means Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Yeah. And then so there's 7 different layers that we do, and it takes, when I do the consultation, I want to take like 15, 20 minutes, 25 minutes reading all the different ways that I do it. So this is the Vata, so called. So it's divided in 3 first, and then depends on the level that I'm going. It could be divided by 7 to be able to look at all the different subdoshas. What that means is subdoshas. So the doshas are Vata, Pitta, Kapha. And then subdoshas will be divided in 5. So each one of these fingers is divided in 5. And each one of this, I can bring the iPad and I can just show you how do I do it. And each one of those represents a different part in your body. So when I do your pulse, I go like, oh, Meline, and also I do the tongue. So I look at the tongue because during COVID, I had to learn to read the tongue really well. So, or people will send me the tongue. So if you see my phone, I have so many tongues all the time. And, or like someone is like not feeling well. So they send me a tongue, like, can you please tell me what do I need to do? And I'm like, oh, do this or that. Or so how that can help you. So when I do the consultation, I have this way of knowing. And then also the pulse, and then so I can see what is happening with you. So when you were born, so there is the doshas that your parents have, and then your mother has. Yeah, at that point that you are made, and that's why I'm always say that it's very, very important to do Panchakarma. That's something that people come here and do. That is the detoxing the body before you're going to have a baby, because then you don't have one of these doshas that is more out of balance, and then the babies they are so incredibly balanced. And I've seen with other clients the difference between this baby that it was just made without, like, okay, we're going to make a baby now, or like this mom. I have many moms that go, okay, I'm going to make a baby. Can we do Panchakarma? Can we look at my diet and my husband's diet, and they both do it. It's really
That's
amazing.
Very interesting perspective, because I feel those things is rarely talked in the Western world. And can you tell us what is Panchakarma? Like, it just sounds like an extremely interesting way of thinking about conceiving a baby.
So Panchakarma is something that I not only recommend for parents, I recommend it for everyone to do it. So Panchakarma, I recommend to do this every change of the season.
Oh.
Because every change of the season, you have an accumulation of, so for example, in the summer, you're going to have an accumulation of heat in your body, no matter what, because it's just being hot. Yeah. So in the winter, you're going to have accumulation of kapha because it's cold. Yeah. And then, so if you think about it, people in the kapha season tend to have more coughs and colds. And
so do you mean like when the change of season, because our body still haven't steered to the new season yet, we need to do certain things to take care of ourselves?
Ayurveda recommends to do that.
Okay.
So every change of the season, you do a little, what we call it, home prep. And the home prep could be different, depends on where you are, depends on what is your body, where is your body at that point. So at that point, I will tell you, okay, Meline, maybe you need to have some ghee. That is one of the things that we use the most. And there's different ghees that we have with different herbs and different ways of methods of taking, what do they do to the body. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this ghee, and then today you're going to get 2 teaspoons early in the morning as soon as you wake up, and then the next day you're going to take 4, and then the next you're going to take 6, and the next day you're going to take 8 teaspoons, and then what this does, and then the last day you're going to take castor oil or a tea that is going to make your bowels move.
Yeah.
Why? Because the ghee is so important that it's going to go there, bind all the toxins.
Maybe a lot of people don't know what ghee is. I don't really know really clear what exactly is ghee and why it helps us to cleanse our body.
So the ghee is clarified butter. Yeah, so it's the butter that you have taken all the solids, and it just becomes pure fat. That's why you can burn it, because you take the water, and that's why you can use it as a lamp. So the ghee, when you start taking the ghee, you just like see the magic that happens in your body. What this does, because it's a lipid, it looks for the toxins, or binds the toxins and moves them to your GI tract. And then while you're doing this home prep, what it does is the accumulation of every day of taking this, because you're supposed not to take any other fat besides the fat that you're taking in the morning. So it's moving plastics like glyphosate, it's moving all this to your GI tract. And then you do castor oil, and then you feel incredible. So like right now, like I've done with people, like for example, they have high cholesterol. I'm making one example. They have high cholesterol, and then we do this. We do the cleanse. It could be with some oils or ghee, or depends on whatever the situation is. And then I've seen going down like 30, 40 points down, and just after you finish the Panchakarma. So the first thing is to prepare the body. So you take the ghee, you take the castor oil or the tea, depends on the instructions. And then during that time, you eat mung beans, rice, vegetables, lentils, everything cooked, soups, every easy to digest. And then a cereal, like a porridge, yeah, in the morning. That's really delicious. And then after you do that for the 5 or 7 days, depends on what you have, then you come and do the Panchakarma. So the Panchakarma is kind of one of what you receive today is one of the treatments that we do in the Panchakarma is the Abhyanga. So I know these names are completely like, what is she talking? So Abhyanga is just like synchronized forehand massage. And you had an experience today on that. Do you want to share a little bit about it?
Yes. I just feel, I think one thing I notice is their hands almost never leave my body. So I always feel they have someone touching me, because I do feel with people to people's touch, it's really calmed me down. And also another thing is they pour the hot oil on my forehead.
Yeah.
I just feel this sense of deep relaxation. And as they said, all the oil is prepared and customized and made every day. I just feel the attention to details and the whole experience made me realize that maybe in day-to-day life, we can work quite a lot, but then there also needs something to bring us balanced, to be able to have a clear thinking. Sometimes if we can't do it actively, we can do it passively by having a treatment like that.
So these two treatments that you're talking about is the Abhyanga, which is the forehand massage, and then what I do, again, according to your pulse, I will make the oil. So like you can see in that wall, you have all the different herbs. So then with that, I make all the combination of the different herbs, and then we have a production facility there where we actually cook like
see the
gallons and gallons of oils, and that's are the oils that are going to be put into your body. Sometimes it takes me to cook one of those oils a week or 7 days, or cooking and boiling. Sometimes I infuse milks, different kinds of milks, like goat milk, cow's milk, sheep's milk, donkey milk, depends of, and cow's milk, obviously. Then I will put those, because it depends on what I want to do with you. So we make those oils and we put them into your body. So that goes transdermal into your body. And then what it does is just, then we do, like, for example, if you were doing Panchakarma, we'll do at the beginning some kind of way of heating the body. So we'll do a sweatana. So like it's a way of putting you to sweat. But it's different than going into a sauna or going. So what we do is we have these tents that go on top of you, and then you start sweating, and then under there's all these herbs that we're gonna put while you sweat.
So basically, if I'm someone working, from the minute I walk in, I will have a very customized experience with oil, with the herbs using on me, so that I can, out of every season, to have balance back to I truly am, then start from there.
Yes, and then so that was the sweating. So the one of the concepts of the beginning, what I do is sweating is to be able to open the channel. So let's say you haven't done a cleanse, and then obviously there's a lot of toxins, because if you go outside and just breathe, we're going to get a lot of toxins no matter what. The fire that happened in last year, it's all this, and there were a lot of people having problems with the lungs. So they were having, and still there's people that are still suffering from that, from all the toxicity that was of all the materials and the from the buildings. So when you do the Panchakarma, all these things is really amazing how, and then after Panchakarma you feel amazing. So there's different treatments like the Abhyanga, just to penetrate and move the toxins out, the Shirodhara to calm down the nervous system, and like, for example, that's also given to people that have insomnia problems and they cannot sleep. That's something that we do, that treatment. And it is done in a different ways. And the Shirodharas are very important because not only we do it with oil, we do different things that depends on whatever the person. The person has too much heat or is like angry, and that person, I'm not gonna put hot oil. I'm gonna put like something that is more cooling, made with yogurt and milk and herbs. That will be different. Let's say I have someone that has too much heat again. So there's a treatment called Pinda Svedana. That is beautiful. We make these beautiful rice balls and they're cooked in milk with the herbs. And then we just put them in your skin, boiling hot, but it makes you cool. And then it takes that heat that is internal to the body away. And then what happens to the people after that, they go like, oh, I remember when I felt like this, because you feel this, like this heat is coming out. Yeah, and there is the Vartana, the Usaranam, there is many other treatments, the Nasya, which is really good for the respiratory system. So depends on what it is, and then I design a 7-day program of what are your treatments and what.
The first thing I noticed is while walking to the kitchen, to everywhere, there has a lot of jars of different herbs and the different oils. So could you explain, like, what are the system here?
All these herbs, and in the kitchen I have more of all the Western herbs, and here I have more of the Ayurvedic herbs. So because for me it's very important to not only do Ayurveda with the herbs that are from Ayurvedic from India, but also what herbs are here, because are the people from here. So they are going to be, you see what it grows. We talked about that what it grows, the earth. So like if your house, let's say it grows a lot of marigold, maybe you need marigold, maybe calendula. Normally these things grow on the population and what do they need.
So it's also according to everybody.
Yeah, personally. So then, and then also what they have. So like they have problems with their hip or the knee, or so then I use all different Ayurvedic herbs and those herbs for that. And then I combine them, and then I make the specific thing that I want to make you feel. Because I have people that come from all over the world and they have all different kinds of ailments. So that what is so beautiful about Ayurveda is that it's not one size fits all.
Oh, that's a very good approach. And for our audience who are at home, they probably couldn't right now come to Santa Monica. Is there anything we can do at home to know our own pattern and eating accordingly?
Yes, there is many what I call dosha quiz. I have some in my website, but you can find it today with AI. It's just so easy to find anything. You do the dosha quiz, and then you answer it, and it will tell you what are your dosha, and then from there you know what you need to balance. So they're gonna tell you, oh, you're having too much pitta, too much fire. So this are the things that you need to do to cool down. So you do that, and then you just like tell you, oh, you need to do this, so put this, take this food, don't favor this food. Yeah.
And typically, what make people first come here to do this whole program? And what are their, let's say, if they have any troubles or problems they want to resolve?
Anything. I have just name it. I have a lot of people have different problems with the nervous system, different problems with the digestion, different problems with the respiratory system, different problems with like losing the hair. A lot of people were losing hair. And a lot of people, pregnant women, women that wants to get pregnant, they have been able to do it through IVF. And then when I did it with Kourtney, that she came, and I can share this
Kourtney
because
Kardashian.
Kourtney Kardashian, yeah. When I did it with her, she's been my client for a long time. I know her for a long time. And the last baby, she wasn't able to get pregnant, and then she came like, why? You don't even need to do that. Just and then she was like, please take all these hormones, everything out, please. And because she wasn't feeling herself, so I did it, and then she had Rocky, and it was really, really beautiful.
And how long process she have go through? Is that 7 days or 14 days of?
She did 10 days of Panchakarma, 7 to 10 days. They both did it with Travis. They both did Panchakarma, and literally maybe 2 months after that they got pregnant. Yeah. doing that, for example, so I have a lot of people that come, even from England, even older women that normally I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a challenge to be able to help to have a baby, because sometimes at 40, once you are in the 40s, it's more difficult. But I feel really good that I have helped even people in the 40s to have a baby. And it's just changing her diet, make them taking care of themselves, and being aware of, if you, one of them, the lady that I'm thinking from London, it was just like she had like 3 business, and I'm like, okay, you got to decide what you want. So just like have someone to manage this, and now you take care of yourself, and then you have a baby. Otherwise, you need to stop.
Do you feel our health could also influence how successful we are?
Well, one of the things that I get over and over from people is like, the people go like, oh, I don't remember when was the last time I felt like this. Because after, it's like almost like you're carrying a heavy jacket, and then you just, no matter what, you just keep going and keeps going and going and doing things. And then when someone comes like, oh, let me take this jacket. And then that person goes like, oh my God, I just feel so incredible. Because when all what I was talking to you about, the channels being completely congested, and when you open and then the circulation and everything starts to move, it's really amazing.
After personally, I'm getting more clear in my mind. It could come from different longevity treatment or different traditional treatment. I realize many problems just go away. And sometimes I'm curious, why was that? It's almost like, is there any link or from
That
the
is such an amazing question. And it's just one of the things that I relate with Panchakarma a lot. That is because there is a lot of the problems that people will have, diseases. So this is something that did not make you easy. So when you have this emotional baggage into your body, and then one of the things that it happens while you doing Panchakarma is like, normally the 3rd and 4th day are the worst, and people get emotional and they go like, the body starts to resist of this, and the ego starts to resist, and then I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore, I'm tired of eating this food, I'm not. And then you pass that, and people cry, and then you pass that. When people go into those crises during the Panchakarma, the results are incredible. But the idea, like what we do every day, like you say, you work, and you go with this jacket, and you just like don't even aware of what is happening to your body. And when you are aware of it, and then you take that, and you take that emotional baggage too that you're getting in there, of course your body's going to feel amazing.
There has many things in life I realize it's hard to explain with logical mind. Things just happened like naturally, and many times it's actually coming from when I'm not working as hard. It almost doesn't feel normal, like, because normal belief is you need to working hard to getting what you want.
Yeah,
I feel it's quite incredible.
like for me in Ayurveda, so when I am from Colombia, so I work for IBM, I work for Carvajal, very big company. I work for Apple company when I was after college. And then at 27, 28, that is when normally most people change their careers. Someone came from my family and said, maybe me or my brother wanted to go to my mom to come to the United States and do English as a second language. I went to a bilingual school, so my English wasn't great, but it was good. So I'm like, my heart was broken. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like, yeah, let's what it is. I found out what it is first because it could be a crazy thing. And then I found out it was TM, Transcendental Meditation. So I did Transcendental Meditation, and my life completely changed. And at that point, everything with computers that I already had set to be in the place that I was going, because of my friend lived in Iowa, of all the places. I had no idea that where I was coming from Colombia, I was going to go to Iowa. And then from there, that's when I'm in a dining room, and then there is this lady with oil in her head, so much oil. I'm like, what? Why you have so much oil? And why is this smell? And then she's like, oh, I'm doing Ayurveda. I'm doing an Abhyanga and a Shudara. You should try it. And then when I tried it, and it completely, I was like, wow, I haven't felt like this for so long. I got to study this. And that's when I was so like, I want to study this, but it wasn't something that I was going to do as a business. I was just going to do it for me. And if one day I had kids and come back to Colombia and do it there. Anything that I did with Ayurveda, it would just like happen. I don't have to do anything. It just happens. People come to me. People offer me things. People, like the way I started in a room under my house, and that's the way I started. That's the way like Kourtney came for the first time. Gwyneth Paltrow, Damon, Julia Roberts, all these people. It wasn't a house, that it was a little house, not fancy or anything. And that's how I started. Well, I have people that knows me and have come for maybe 25, 30 years, and they keep coming every year. And they come and do because they feel at a certain point during the year that like, oh, I'm just not performing and I'm not feeling that well. So they come back. And they have been coming back to do Panchakarma every year.
When we think about our everyday life, is there anything we can do to really make us feel better?
Oh, yeah. Ayurveda has a whole, we call it dinacharya. So dinacharya is what do you do from the minute that you wake up. Yeah. So the first thing that I recommend, the first thing I recommend for people is to scrape your tongue. Why you do that? So that's the first thing, because let's say I ate a fish that it was not organic, and then I ate some vegetables that were not organic, and then I had some milk, and I don't know, just like food, like that is not, normally the body, what it does, it recognizes this, and then it moves the toxins up to the tongue, which is really amazing. So if you see, if I show you pictures of tongues, you will see some people have a lot of white in their tongues. So all that's what we call in Ayurveda ama, or toxins that have been in the tongue. Yeah, they're coming up. So that's why we say first thing in the morning you wake up, and then you clean your tongue. And so you clean it, rinse it, clean it, rinse it. Because you don't want that to be back into the body and then it just goes into different tissues. So it's really amazing, the transformation that you can do from 3, 5, 7, 14 days, 21 days, 28 days that people come and do the Panchakarma. Okay, so the first thing is to clean out your tongue. The next thing that I recommend is just like with good water and then one thing that it was from my grandmother, that she always recommended, sometimes I forget about it, is to just put good water outside at night before you go to bed. And then you put it out so it gets serene in the water. This like this magical moments that nature has. And then in the morning with that cold water, you should wash your face and wash your eyes with that water, but it has to be good water. So that's the next thing. And then we recommend to do some yoga asanas. So we do these asanas. I have different ones, the 1, 2, 3, 4, and these are the exercises that you do to make your body, because we're getting older, and the older we do, this starts to get compact. So if you start doing all these different asanas, it will help you so much with that. And then after that, we recommend to meditate. And there's many orders that depends on whatever you do. The other thing that I recommend is to do abhyanga, so a self-massage. And that's why I have all the different oils that I have for Vata, Pitta, Kapha, slimming. So what we recommend is to do a massage. So then you do a massage every day. You put your oil every day, and then you do circles in the joints, up and down in the muscles, circles in the joints, up and down. And then you go from the hands to the heart, from the feet to the heart. So when you do this every day, you're making sure that these toxins not going deeper into the tissues and the different subductions. And then you do that at night before you go to bed. Like I recommend for people different things that I do, like don't go on the TV, don't put blue light before you go to bed. If you can meditate again a little bit before you go to bed, you have incredible dreams. And then massage your feet with ghee and lavender. It's incredible for people that have problems sleeping. So you massage your feet, massage all your toes, and then you put a little bit of lavender on it, and then you take the excess of it and then go to sleep. Do that, and then just like, because the ghee works on the nervous system, and so it helps make you go to sleep and in a very nice way. So, and then Ayurveda recommends to do like something that is easy to digest, and the combinations of food. I can give you a list of how not to combine. I always said, I had a client that always having these problems, and then I was like, and then just like, what do you eat? And I'm like, I eat chicken and eggs, and I'm like, you're eating the mom and the kid at the same time. You should not combine that.
Oh,
No,
I never think about this. Now it's come really visual.
Yes. So, or like dairy and meat. That's something that is also kosher. That you should not combine these two foods, because the body is not going to be able to digest and assimilate in the same way that if you do it separate.
I recall when we talk, you have mentioned that you believe that the food is a medicine. So can we explore a little bit into it?
In Ayurveda, we have the list of all the Vata foods, a list of all the Pitta foods, and the list of all the Kapha foods. Once you see what you are, so let's say you are Vata Pitta, then you go, okay, so this is the list, and this is what nature is giving me. So the Vata, the Pitta, and the Kapha, they have the list. So then when you have the list of the foods that you should eat, but let's say you have a combination of Vata and Pitta. So you do all the favors of Vata, and you do all the favors of Pitta, and you combine them. So you can combine those two and then make that combination, because people can be Vata Pitta, Pitta Kapha, Kapha Vata, Vata Kapha. So it could be a combination of this, and it's a combination of what you are. You can just feel like, what do I feel this morning? Do I feel cold? I'm not going to have some cold water or cold juice, because it's going to make you more cold. Yeah.
But like if I'm a fire, I should think about doing water food rather than think about doing fire food.
So you're fire, you don't want to put more fire, because if you have a big fire right now and I put a little wine, what happens? It's going to go. So it's the same thing. So if the Pitta people normally, for example, Pitta people normally, they like to drink alcohol. So when they drink the alcohol, it's going to make it more fiery. Yeah. So like, for example, so maybe I give you a list of the Vata foods. Yeah, for example, I'm going to make a combination of Vata foods. For example, for people that have Vata disorders, I would say people do not have anything cold. And the fruits and vegetables that I will say to recommend for them is to not do any of the cruciferous. So not do broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage. Why? Because this like kale, the crispy kale, all that, these vegetables, they have too much air on it, and they produce air in the body, so they're going to make you bloated. Yeah. And the people that are Vata people, they have too much air, so when you eat this, are going to aggravate it more. So why do I say to these people, eat the Vata people, eat like broccoli, cauliflower? Depends. If it's too high, I would say avoid it completely. But otherwise, I would say cook them really well and do them at lunch. Then, for example, Pitta people, I will tell them, do not eat tomatoes, do not eat potatoes, do not eat eggplant, do not eat bell peppers, do not like strawberries or things that are very sour, do not eat any spicy, and no alcohol.
What will be the simplest way in the morning I can self-diagnose which elements I am in that day? Like what are the indication or like biomarkers I should look into in myself to be able to know how do I adjust my diet accordingly?
Let's find out. You wake up this morning, and how do you feel?
I felt this morning there has a urgency of time, so that I want to go to breakfast with my friends and then come here to do this. So altogether, I feel a little bit urgency, but at the same time, I think recently my mind is really quiet.
So the hurry up is that, if you look at it behind, it's a little bit of anxiety, because I need to hurry up. I need to move fast.
Yeah.
So that's a Vata.
Okay.
Yeah. How did you sleep last night?
I sleep really well.
Really well. So that means your Kapha, the earth, because Kapha is earth and water. So their Kapha is really good. So that means that people that have good quality of Kapha, they normally go to bed, go to sleep, no problem. So that's the beautiful combination of the Kapha and the Vata, that you were able to be in a hurry, but at the same time go like, no, my mind's still very full. But for other people, they are not. And so what happens with the coffee, for example, if you drink coffee, it's going to make your biological clock 24 hours. Yeah. So what happens, and so then what it starts to drain the adrenals. So that's why when you stop the coffee, you feel so bad. People feel like headaches. That's how powerful it is. They feel headaches, they feel tired, they don't feel with the natural energy that we should have. Yeah. So when you say in the morning, so I said, you don't drink coffee, you drink like you can drink a lavender tea, you can have some just hot water would be amazing. And then so you will have something that is like not like black tea or nothing that has caffeine, because it's going to be counteract of what you have. You see what I'm saying?
After you practice this very holistic way of approaching life, what happened to you personally? Like, do you feel you change or?
Wow, it's such an amazing question. I did change the person that I was before to the person that I am right now. And then all the things that keep happening in my life. I used to smoke. I used to drink alcohol. I used to go party. I was 27, 28. I used to smoke cigarettes, party, drink alcohol. I had incredible gastritis, like really painful. And then so the doctor would recommend just take Tums. So I will take Tums, and that's to not have the pain. So when I went to the university and then I learned about Ayurveda, and then it's like, oh no, you don't need to take Tums anymore. You just need to change what you eat. Drinking alcohol, you bring acidic in your body. Stop that. Yeah. And eat these foods instead. So I started eating more things that they were like porridges. And so they were like smooth in my stomach instead of irritating every time I eat. And then I changed all the spicy, all the tomatoes, the potatoes, the eggplant, all these fruits. And when I learned of this and I changed it, then I had no problem anymore.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I feel part of things hard about changing diet is the habit side, especially maybe the beginning few days. Let's say when people knows they need to do certain things for their diet, what are the best way that they can master their willpower, if you may say it?
So why would I go and smoke cigarettes and drink alcohol again? I'm going to come back to the same. Yeah. I'm going to be suffering. So why would I do that? With a coffee, it's like I see people over and over, because when they have to do the diet, take the Ghee to do the Panchakarma, they have to stop the coffee, the tea, the cafe. That's one of the things, because you cannot clean with this hand and make dirty with this hand. So you have to stop the coffee. And then so I say to people, or if you want to really stop the coffee and then really get your energy, you feel so amazing and so clear, is I tell them, so what you do is you take 3/4 of a cup of coffee and then put 1/4 of decaf, and do that for like 3 or 4 days. Yeah. And then you go to half and half, and then you go 3/4, 1/4, and then you go to completely decaf. Yeah. And then you can just 1 or 2 days, you can start leaving it. And if you're still feeling something, then you go a little bit of green tea, and then that's it. You are out of that way of it's hard at the beginning, but that's a way of easy on it. So easy on not drinking coffee every day.
And when we think about menopause, or men also, I believe in their certain age, they also have a menopause thing.
Andropause. It's for
Okay.
me. It's called andropause.
Andropause.
Yeah.
So what happened to our body, and how can we, using the ancient wisdom to teach us or help us to go through it with, good health?
It's funny because the things with that, again, menopause is you are fine, and then the all the estrogen starts to change, the progesterone starts to change, the testosterone starts to change. You start having less estrogen in your body, and then the hot flashes start. So suddenly you're talking to me, and suddenly you feel this heat come completely to your body, which is a different way than when you feel hot. You just like feel like you're starting to sweat all to your arms, to your legs. And some people get completely wet. And some women, they have to take like shirts with them, or to be able to change, because it's just so hot. So understanding that I'm going to go through this, and then so many times during the consultation, I tell the ladies, you are turning 47, 48. You should be thinking of not drinking alcohol anymore. Yeah. You should be not drinking to have anything that aggravates pitta. And here's a list of the foods that you should And then when people changes this, and they start having the transition of changes in the body, the women, then they go through menopause easy. So how is your diet from the minute that you have your first period? So if you go and see the women, because I've done this, go and see the women in India that had their menopause, like they went to the transition, no problem. It was like nothing. Because if you see the diet of these people, so these women, they didn't have anything fermented. They didn't have any coffee. Coffee, the coffee is acidic, yeah, or fermented, starts to, like, if you want to make bone broth, yeah, if you make bone broth and you want to take the bone marrow out of the bones, what do? You put vinegar.
Yes.
Yeah, in the soup to get the bone marrow out. So the vinegar, when you're having all these fermented things, what it does, since you are 15 or even before, and you're having all this fermented food, the coffee, all the stuff, when you get 40, 48, 49, 50, it's accumulation of all that in your body. And then when you get to that, so then, of course, your bones are going to be brittle. And it's not the lack of estrogen, yeah, that you should be able to go to that transition. And Ayurveda has beautiful stuff like Shatavari, that is called, that is 100 Husbands, the other name. And then so you take a little bit of Shatavari, or you start eating some papaya, you start eating fennel, you start eating chickpeas, you start eating more tofu into your diet. And then that's the natural way of putting back the estrogen that your body is losing on the way. But because it was done that way, and your food is being really conscious about what are you putting, then you're feeling fine and you're gonna go through it fine.
What about, like, if the woman, they are before their menopause or they are during the menopause, if they didn't happen to do an amazing diet before?
They're gonna have a lot of hot flashes. They're not gonna be able to sleep. They're gonna gain weight. Like you drink water and you gain weight. Like it's just as simple as that. But now Western medicine has something that Ayurveda discovered 10,000 years ago. That is just you put something in your skin and it goes in.
Actually, the most healthy people I ever seen, they are the people that don't do a lot of supplement, and they just radiance.
Oh, I'm so glad you're bringing that up, because I have sometimes people that fill up this table on this one with all the different things that doctors are giving them. And it's just something that you have to be very careful.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the reasons our channel wants to talk to different experts in different things. That is being said, I still curious, like, what are the best way basically to give our body what they need.
One of the things that I believe so is like doing all the things that I say, do scraping your tongue, doing the Abhyanga, meditating, doing the yoga asanas, and then eating the food, eating pretty much cooked food, warm food. And the summer you can eat could be salads and things that are not so cooked. That would be a way of maintaining your body. And I need more vitamin A. Yeah. Just eat more carrots. Yeah. And then like chard, like if you take chard and cook it a little bit with a little bit of garlic and a little bit of olive oil, and then you take it out and put a bit of lemon, just that, it makes you absorb more calcium.
We have touched base on females menopause. What about for male, like when they are achieving, I don't know how to even call it,
andropause? So with men it's different, because men could have things like, like women, like the stomach grows. And they have that change in their body. So just being more aware of that, and then what are they going to do? What are they putting in their body? How much exercise they're doing? And then if they guide it through that, then they're going to go in a good way, because men also can just gain weight, and then all these ailments start to happen, high blood pressure for men. And then if they change it, they do Panchakarma, they clean themselves, and they're aware of meditating and just taking care of themselves. It's the same as women. It's the same.
If you can give our audience one important takeaway from today's episode, what they can really practice at home, what that would be?
Meditate.
Meditate.
And yesterday I was in a talk with this enlightened person, and then he was saying something that it was really beautiful. Meditate and trying to put a light on your head. So trying to put a light on your head. And so if you turn a candle, you see the blue part and then the yellow part. Yeah? That closer to the wick is the blue part. So then you put this and then you put the light on yourself. And then after that, take your hands, put the light in your hand, the same, you visualize the light and send it to be peace for the world. And that's what I will say for everyone, and meditate. Because being that meditation and being surrounded by that, you will be protected.
Thank you, Martha, for your time. Really enjoyed our conversation. Thank you for watching this new episode of Humanware Project. So that we can bring out more amazing content like this one to you, please like and subscribe. Your support means the world to us.